Friends, a very good morning to one and all. I am Dr. Deepak Koche, currently working as Associate Professor, Department of Botany in Sri Shivaji College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Akola, Maharashtra. This is my second video from this platform of Botany Before You, for you people, under the same earlier title, that is Research Opportunities in India for Life Science Students, but this is part 2. Here I am trying to interact with you regarding how one can enter in the research field, what are different PhD programs run by different universities and institutions, and which type of fellowships are available for candidates doing PhD, specially offered by government funding agencies. So friends, let us start with the basics of research. I had already explained what is research in the earlier lecture, so we will revise it. So this research is a creative and systematic investigation to increase the stock of knowledge, because when you take any problem and by your creative and systematic investigation you generate the knowledge, that knowledge is added to this existing knowledge, and this total increased knowledge is applicable to devise certain applications to the benefit of mankind. Okay, here I have tried to recapture the subject which we usually take up during our PG programs under the life science subjects. Okay, as we all know that botany and zoology are considered as the fundamental subjects in life sciences or biological sciences. Further, the subjects like biochemistry, biotechnology, biophysics and microbiology, they are also comparatively older. Okay, no doubt these particular subjects have their own status in academics as well as industrial sector, but nowadays some more subjects like cell and molecular biology, molecular immunology, biochemistry and enzymology, human genetics, neuroscience, stress biology, nanobiotechnology, these subjects like stem cell biology, they are coming up as emerging subjects in under life science. Now, if you want to do the PhD, you must have to know certain basic things regarding PhD. Okay, so PhD stands for Doctor of Philosophy. This is supposed to be the highest university degree that is conferred after PG by most universities across the globe. Okay, the PhD is globally recognized postgraduate academic degree awarded by universities and higher educational institutions to a candidate who has submitted a thesis or dissertation based on extensive and original research work chosen in their field. Students, some must have to complete the viva voce or the oral defense of their PhD work, then and then that particular university is awarding that PhD to the particular candidate. Okay, basically when we consider the pattern of PhD and its curriculum, there are two basic patterns: PhD by research and PhD by coursework and research. Most of the traditional state universities were using the pattern of PhD by research, while agricultural universities were with the PhD by coursework and research. However, recently University Grant Commissions and MHRD have suggested certain new amendments, and now we have all PhD by coursework and research. Second point is related to the finance, that is fees required for doing PhD, from the PhD admission to the PhD completion or the PhD award. So we see that the course fee or the PhD course fee differ from university to university or institution to institution. Normally it has been found that the total fees required for a PhD program may be in between 2 to 4 lakhs. Some more things regarding the PhD. The PhD in life sciences is typically a 3-year program. It may be maximum extended by 5 to 6 years. The candidate can take admission in any recognized colleges, university department or institution. The minimum eligibility is master's degree in the specific subject. If you are the life science student, you must be the master's MSc in any subject coming under the life science with minimum 55%. You must have to clear the entrance examination of the college or the university. Each university have its special individual entrance test for the PhD. One must have to note this because you have to give that entrance test if you want to work as a PhD scholar in that particular university. Most important thing is that NET JRF candidate, that NET JRF is the national level exam which has been conducted by MHRD and UGC. These NET JRF candidates are mostly waived from the entrance exams. They have the relaxation, they can directly join the PhD course. Some universities also have direct admission to the candidates who already done MPhil, while some universities like Delhi University, JNU, candidates with NET JRF with MPhil or at least 2 years research experience after post graduation is prepared in these particular universities. Now the next question is where to do your PhD. So it is up to your choice, but there are several options. There are central universities, there are state universities, there are colleges which are affiliated to state universities, there are some private universities which are coming up now, and national research institutes. So which particular center you will prefer for doing the PhD? According to me, central universities should be preferred. They are having their own entrance exams for the PhD, but if you go by status, the status of these central universities is too high and it is definitely helping you in getting jobs. Nevertheless, the state universities are also too good because they are also having the good professors who can direct you in your PhD. Also, there are certain colleges, reputed colleges at the center of the PhD affiliated to the state universities, where you can also opt that particular admission, okay, or you can go for national institute. I am a little bit reluctant to recommend the private universities because they are having their own scenario, but of course this is my opinion. You have to choose according to the conditions and according to the provisions you are having with you. As I had already discussed in the earlier lecture, that India has 5 most important funding agencies which are funding the projects in life sciences as well as giving the fellowships for the PhD programs. So these are Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, Department of Science and Technology, DST, Department of Biotechnology, DBT, Indian Council for Agricultural Research, that is ICAR, Indian Council for Medical Research, that is ICMR. These are the 5 most important funding agencies if you consider the life science sector. Now we will discuss about the fellowships for the life science students. That means which particular agency provide the fellowships to the students who are doing the PhD. who is eligible for getting the PhD fellowships. So first we will discuss about the fellowship which is given by the DST, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. So first we will discuss about the DST Inspire Fellowship. So any top ranker, the first topper in subject in any university or any autonomous college in each subject is eligible to get this Inspire Fellowship. Okay, only the condition is that he should be topper in the subject in the university or in that particular autonomous college, and minimum batch should be of 10 students, and its aggregate marks should be 70%. He should be in between 22 years to 27 years. So for such candidate, DST awards the around 1000 Inspire Fellowships, and the emolument is nearly to the JRF, around 25,000 plus. I think it has been increased now. The another most important scheme run by DST is for women scientists. So this is basically for the girls which are who want to flourish in research. So there are 3 different categories under which the DST give the fellowships. That is OS A in research in basic and applied sciences, OS B it is related to science and technology intervention for social benefit, and OS C it is related to the internship in IPRs for self-employment. Okay. Another most important thing which I want to share here is that the Junior Research Fellowship which is awarded by the DST. Now, being a DST as a nodal funding agency, it gives it funds the projects to various universities, regional, state or national institutes under different schemes, and each particular project at least have one post of the JRF. So if you are eligible, you can opt that particular position, and you will get around 31,000 as a fellowship plus HRA. Another prestigious fellowship is which is awarded by DST. It is Prime Minister Fellowship Scheme for doctoral research. Okay, it has been recently launched. Now the next in this we will consider the fellowship which is given by the DBT, Department of Biotechnology, Government of India. So there are few fellowships like DBT JRF fellowships, which is provided to the eligible candidate for doing PhD, but this Department of Biotechnology, it has the separate entrance, and this fellowship is provided for 3 to 5 years. Then the PhD programs run by different regional centers of the biotechnology, Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, like NCCS Pune. It has its own PhD program. Okay. Then this Department of Biotechnology also has the certain fellowships for as RA fellowships, which are purely temporary, and it gives the RA fellowships for 2 to 5 years. Then another one most prestigious fellowship in DBT is DBT THWAS PhD fellowship. Here we are going to discuss regarding the DBT JRF examination. So the department which is organizing agency, it is Department of Biotechnology. Its eligibility is that postgraduate in biotechnology or in any discipline of the life science with at least 60% for general category and 55% for SC and ST category. It is only applicable for the fellowship, and you will get around 25,000 plus HRA as a fellowship. Okay. Its advertisement appears on this website I had given here. Its tentative notification is there on the website during March and April every year, and its age limit is around 28 years for general category. It is relaxed for 5 years, that is 28 plus 5 for SC, ST and women candidates. Now comes towards the fellowships which awarded by the University Grant Commission, that is UGC fellowships. So first of all, we will see the fellowship that is CSIR UGC NET JRF fellowship, which is around 31,000 plus HRA, then Single Girl Child Scholarship, then Rajiv Gandhi National Fellowship for SC students, Maulana Azad National Fellowship for minority students, then National Fellowship for OBC students, National Fellowship for ST students, National Fellowship for persons with disabilities, and Junior Research Fellowship for Science, Humanities and Social Sciences. So these are the fellowships which is generally provided by UGC for the students who are doing PhD and eligible for getting those fellowships. So here I had given certain another fellowships for the life science students. I will just enlist it. ICMR NIMR PhD program, then CSIR CFTRI PhD admission program, then SARC Agriculture PhD program, which is basically for the agriculture and allied sciences students, then Burning Question Fellowship Award, it is open for all students, then Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund Scholarship, it is also open for the all subject, but it has the limited number of seats, then Vision India Fellowship, then FITM Ayush Research Fellowship for the students in traditional medicine, that means the students who is working for his PhD or her PhD in traditional medicine can get the fellowship from the Ayush Ministry, then NCERT Doctoral Fellowship, then Tata Trust Education Scholarship, Homi Bhabha Center and TIFR PhD admission, which are having the separate entrance, then BARC JRF program, which is one of the most important PhD program run by BARC. We will see certain details regarding the BARC JRF fellowship, and it also gives the training. It is under the banner of BARC OCES DGFS. So the organizing agency is Bhabha Atomic Research Center, Mumbai. Eligibility is PG in any discipline of the life sciences with at least 60% marks and 55% for SC and ST students. The advertisement appears on this particular website, and the tentative date of notification is January-February every year. The age limit is around 26 years for general category, 29 years for the OBC category students, and 31 years for the SC/ST category students. The stipend you get is generally around 55,000 per month, and you also get the book allowance of around 18,000. The selection criteria for this particular interview is that you have to clear that particular exam, entrance exam, along with the screening and selection interview. So there are two different types of screenings. Online screening test, which is conducted in the 9 engineering disciplines. The codes are from 21 to 29, and in 4 science disciplines codes are 41 to 43 and 45 at more than 40 cities spread across India. The online screening test for the OCES DGFS 2020 was held in March and April this year. The another thing is GATE score. The candidates will be screened in the selection interview on the basis of its valid GATE score. So not only you have to clear that entrance exam, but also your GATE score should be that much enough to that much higher to get that particular fellowship. Now we will discuss regarding the fellowships for PhD, which are provided by Government of India or any other government for the PhD work outside India. So I will enumerate such fellowships. So number 1, Commonwealth PhD Scholarship UK. It is open for all subject. Then UNUIAS PhD Scholarship, specifically for work in Japan. It is again open for all subject. Then another one, Raman Charpak Fellowship, which has been given by the for the study in France. Specifically, the subject should be biophysics related. Then Fulbright Kalam Climate Fellowship. It is related with the ecology and environmental science. Then Fulbright Nehru Doctoral Research Fellowship is there. Japanese government has different scholarship for the research students. Then TWAS NRF Doctoral Research Fellowship is there. Then DAD PhD Fellowship is there. So these are certain fellowship under which, if you are getting this fellowship, you can work for your PhD in some other countries. Now coming towards your basic aspect, do you want your career as a research? That means if you are doing PhD, you are that much serious to get a career in research after PhD. Do you see yourself as a successful researcher? Do you think you could achieve a career as a scientist in life science? What you need to do this? What you need? You need a proper vision. Okay? You need a foresight how you could reach to that particular goal. And first of all, you will need a right degree. Do you think that your only BSc degree is enough to become a scientist? No. You have to go for at least masters or even for PhD in respective subject. Then and then you can enter in the research area. Okay, for doing PhD. It is not sufficient. After your master's degree in any subject which comes under life science or biological science, you have to clear NET JRF or GATE exam in life science with a good score. Further, you also have to clear the entrance test exam which has been conducted by that respective institution or the university to opt or to book your seat as a PhD scholar in that particular department or university or that particular autonomous college. Then and then you can enter in the field of research, and further you can flourish in as a researcher. Okay, so I think you understood what I had suggested here. Of course, there are few general views, and those views are my personal views. So just consider it for your betterment. In the next lecture, we will see the research beyond boundaries. Thank you very much. See you soon.